Welcome to Arcane Past. There's a place in Arizona, 1.5 kilometers deep, almost 500 kilometers long. Millions of people visit it every year. They take pictures, they watch the sunset, they call it beautiful, but they don't know the real story because underneath that beauty, underneath those red rocks and ancient cliffs, there is something hidden, something the government didn't want you to know, something that scientists still can't explain. This is the Grand Canyon, and everything you've heard about it is wrong. Let me tell you why. In 1909, a man walked into the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. He was carrying strange artifacts, stone tools, copper weapons, pottery with symbols no one had ever seen. He said he found them deep inside the Grand Canyon, inside a cave that led to a massive underground city with tunnels, with statues, with Egyptian hieroglyphs carved into the walls. The Smithsonian listened. They took his artifacts, they sent him away, and then they erased everything. No records, no reports, nothing. The man's name was G.E. Kincaid. He was an explorer, a serious man, not a liar. But the Smithsonian denied everything. They said Kincaid never existed. They said the story was a hoax, except it wasn't. Because years later, researchers found newspaper articles from 1909, the Phoenix Gazette. They described Kincaid's discovery in detail. An underground city, Egyptian artifacts, a mystery buried beneath the Grand Canyon. So what happened to those artifacts? Where is the cave? And why would the Smithsonian hide it? Let me go back. The Grand Canyon is not just a hole in the ground. It is one of the most geologically complex places on Earth. The rocks at the bottom are almost 2 billion years old. That is nearly half the age of the planet. And for thousands of years, Native American tribes have lived there. The Hopi, the Navajo, the Havasupai. They never built cities inside the canyon. They never went deep into the cliffs because they believed the canyon was a gateway to the underworld. Their legends speak of a hidden entrance, a place where spirits come and go, a place where the living are not welcome. Some tribal elders even refuse to talk about it. They say it's forbidden. So what if Kincaid really found that entrance? In 1909, the Phoenix Gazette published a long article. It said Kincaid had discovered a cave high up on the canyon wall, a cave that was not natural. It had been carved by human hands. Inside, he found a large chamber, then another, then a tunnel that went down for almost a kilometer. The walls were covered with hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs, depicting gods, rituals, and something that looked like the story of creation. He also found statues, bronze statues, weapons, copper tools, and a massive tomb, sealed and undisturbed. Kincaid believed he had found evidence of an ancient Egyptian presence in North America, thousands of years before Columbus. The Smithsonian sent an archaeologist to investigate. His name was S.A. Jordan. He confirmed the discovery. He wrote reports, and then nothing. Those reports disappeared. Jordan vanished from history. Kincaid died in obscurity. When modern researchers asked the Smithsonian about the 1909 discovery, they said there was no record, no files, no photos, nothing. But the newspaper articles still exist. You can read them today. So what was really in that cave? There are three theories. Theory one, the story was a hoax, a newspaper trying to sell copies. Journalists invented Kincaid, invented the cave, invented everything. It happens sometimes. But why would the Smithsonian deny it so aggressively? Why would they say Kincaid never existed when there are records of his name And why would they refuse to comment on the artifacts? Theory 2, the cave was real, but the artifacts were not Egyptian. They were made by an ancient Native American civilization that had somehow developed similar symbols. That would be a major archaeological discovery, but the Smithsonian buried it because it didn't fit their narrative. They didn't want to rewrite history. Theory 3, the cave was real, the artifacts were Egyptian, and the Smithsonian hid everything because the implications were too dangerous. If Egyptians reached America thousands of years before Europeans, everything we know about history would change. Maps would have to be redrawn. Textbooks would have to be rewritten. And the Smithsonian, the most trusted institution in America, would have to admit they were wrong. Which theory is true? I don't know. But here's what I do know. In 2019, a team of researchers used ground-penetrating radar near the Grand Canyon. They were not looking for caves. They were looking for water. Instead, they found something else, a void, a massive underground chamber located exactly where Kincaid described it. The National Park Service immediately blocked access to the area. They said it was for safety reasons, too dangerous, unstable cliffs. No one has been allowed near that spot since. So let me ask you something. If there's nothing there, why block it? The Grand Canyon holds secrets. Maybe ancient aliens, maybe a lost Egyptian colony, maybe something even stranger. But one thing is certain. The official story is incomplete, and the truth, whatever it is still buried underground, waiting. Now, here's a question for you. Would you walk into that cave if you found it, or would you walk away? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more mysteries that the government doesn't want you to know, subscribe to Arcane Past, because this is just the beginning. Next time, we're going to Cahokia, a city bigger than London, built 1,000 years ago, and then abandoned. See you next time. Subscribe to Arcane Past to hear more mysterious stories you've never heard of.